Hi, welcome to my video on find the equation of a line in slope y-intercept form, part 2. We've already did part 1, but let's do more equations finding the slope of a line in slope y-intercept form. Example A. We're going to do A each time. First I'm going to find it in the point slope form, and then I'm going to use it as directly into the slope y-intercept form. Let's do these 4 examples, A, B, C, and D, and you see what I'm talking about. A, we have a point 3, 5 with a slope of negative 2, 3. Because we have a point, we can sub that in y minus 5, slope negative 2/3, bracket x minus 3. So that's plugging it into the point slope form. Multiplying by the 2/3 in front of the bracket, we will eliminate the brackets. 2/3 times x, 2/3 times negative 3, so 2/3 times 3 over 1, the 3's cancel, and I get negative times negative is a positive, so I get a 2. And then we move the 5 to the left side, minus 5 to the right side, sorry, to become 5. So we have 2/3 x plus 7. So this is the point slope form. Now we have the slope y-intercept form, where 2/3, negative 2/3 is the slope, 7 is the y-intercept. But if I take this info and plug it directly into the point slope formula, then we have a point, which is, let's write it here, 3, 5, and we have a slope of negative 2/3. So notice, if I plug that information into here, I only have one unknown. I have the y, which is 5, I have the x, which is 3, I have the slope, which is 2/3. So plugging that 3 bits of information here in here, I can come up with the b. So let's do it. Y is 5, m is negative 2/3, x is 3, plus b. So multiply negative 2/3 times 3, the 3's cancel, and I get a negative 2 plus b. Leave the b on the right side and move the 2 to the left side to become plus. So b becomes 7. I could have moved the b over here, made it negative, and moved the 5 to the right to become negative, and I still would have come up with a 7. So now I have a slope of negative 2/3. I have a y-intercept of 7. So plug it in. Slope, negative 2/3 x plus 7. So I did it 2 ways. And when you're finding the equation of a line, you can work out whatever way you wish to feel comfortable. I'm just giving you different options. Let's do B again. Try it the same way. We have a slope of 3/4 with an x-intercept of negative 8. Because we have an x-intercept of negative 8, we can say that's negative 8, 0. Because an x-intercept is a point on the x-axis with a y-coordinate of 0. Now we have a point and a slope. So we can plug that into the point slope form again. So we have y minus 0, slope 3/4, and x plus 8, because in the point slope form, plugging the coordinates in, we change the signs of the coordinates. And remove the brackets, 3/4 times x, 3/4 times 8, I'll multiply that here. The 8 is over 1, 4 and 8 goes 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. And we have a 0, so y minus 0 is the same as y. So the point slope form becomes y equals 3/4 x plus 6 into the slope intercept form. Or if we take this info and plug it directly into the slope y-intercept form, remember we have a slope of 3/4. The x-intercept is a point, so the point is -8, 0. So plugging that into y equals mx plus b directly, let's see, I have a x, I have a y, and I have a slope again. So I can plug it directly into this equation because the only unknown I don't know is b. So y is 0, the slope is 3/4, x is -8, and I'll find the value of b. 0 equals, so 3/4 multiplied by 8 over 1, 4 and 8 goes 2, and I get a -6 plus b. So b is 6. -6 moving over to the left side becomes 6. So I have a slope of 3/4, and I have y-intercept of 6. So I can, again, plug it into the point slope form and solve for y. I'll get y equals mx plus b, or I can plug it directly into y equals mx plus b. So I have two options. Your choice. C, I have 2 points and I have no slope. So no matter which way I go, point slope form or slope y-intercept, I have to go and find the slope. So the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And the points x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's work out the slope. y2 is 5. y1, I'm subtracting -1. x2 is 1, subtract 4. Notice again the negative and the negative. There they are, the two negatives right there. And the coordinates fit around that. Double negative is a positive, so that becomes 5 plus 1 is 6. 1 subtract 4 is -3. So that gives me a -2 slope. Now since I have found the slope, I can plug it into the point slope form, and I'll pick the point 4, -1, and I'll take the slope of -2. I could have taken this point. Either point will do. So y plus 1, -2 outside of x minus 4. That's the point slope form. And simplify. Remove the brackets. -2 times x. -2 times -4. And the 1 goes to the right side to become a -1. So I have -2x plus 7. So now I have y equals mx plus b, which is the slope y-intercept form. If I want, I may plug it into the y equals mx plus b right away, but I can't do it right away because I don't have a slope. I have 2 points. I got an x and a y, but I don't have m or I don't have b. So if I were to do it this way, I would still have to do the slope first. So I would still have to go and get the slope of -2, and I have to pick a point. So when I have a slope worked out as -2, I can take this point or the other point and plug it in. So when I do, y is -1, the slope is -2, the x is 4, and when I work that out, I have to multiply to get -8, and b is -1 plus 8, so b is 7. So y equals slope -2, y-intercept 7. Again, but no matter which way I go, I have to get the slope first. And which way do you want to go? If you're working, your choice. If you want the slope y-intercept form, so 2 options. D. Now we need to find the slope y-intercept form. So I need a slope. So let's go and get a slope. And if I have a y-intercept of 4, that's 0, 4. So the y-intercept of 4 gives me a point. So I have 2 points. So I find out the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and that's an x1, y1, and this is x2, y2, and y2 is a 4, subtract 5, and x2 is 0, subtract 2, and you work that out, you get a negative 1 on top, you get a negative 2 on the bottom, so the slope becomes a half. Now that I have a slope, I can pick one of the points. So let's take the point 2, 5, and the slope of a half. If I take that, then I can do the point slope form. Y minus 5, 1/2, bracket, x minus 2. Change your signs when you plug the point into point slope form. And remove the brackets. 1/2 times x. 1/2 times negative 1. Negative 2 is negative 1. 2's cancel. And the 5 moves over to become plus. So I have y equals 1/2 x plus 4. So I can get the equation using the point slope form, but I have to get the slope first. Okay, now what about y equals mx plus b? Let's see. Let's look. I have a point 2, 5, and I have a y-intercept. The y-intercept of 4, really, that's my b in my equation. So my y-intercept of 4 means b is 4. So I have an x and a y and my b. So I can plug these 3 bits of information in. 5, slope, don't know. X is 2, b is 4. So plugging this info in. So m times 2 is 2m plus 4. So I can move the 2m to the left and the numbers to the right, or I can leave it there, your choice. So if I go negative 2m and go 4 minus 5, negative 2m equals negative 1, divide by negative 2, and I get m equals a half. So now I have a slope of 2, and I already know my y-intercept is 4, so y equals a half m plus 4. So I could have taken this information, plugged it directly into this equation, and come up with my slope, or I can plug it into the point slope form. So if I do the point slope form, I have to get the slope and plug it in with the point. But if I plug this info in here, I come up with the slope, and then I got the equation. So both ways work. Your choice. Again, your choice to work out whatever way you wish to get the slope y-intercept form. Now I have a page which says practice. Practice means you work them out whatever way you wish. I will do all of them, because once you know how to find the equation of a line different ways, then everything is becoming great. The more practice, the better. Practice. Pause the video and work one out. Then pause it again and work this one out and check it back, play it back to get the answer. Here we go. Write the equation of a line in slope y-intercept form. So we have a point and a slope. So if I plug it in, y minus 1 equals negative 6x plus 4. Again, we change the signs when we plug it in with the slope. We remove the brackets by multiplying by negative 6 times x, negative 6 times 4, negative 24, and we solve for y, moving the 1 to the right side, changing the sign, so y equals negative 6x plus 23. Remember, this is the point slope form, which is an equation. But if we simplify that, we get the slope intercept form, which is a slope of negative 6, which we knew, and y-intercept is negative 23. If you want, that's one way to go. If you plug it into y equals mx plus b right away, let's see, we have an x, we have a y, and we have a slope. So we have an x, a y, and a slope. So the only unknown we don't know is the b. So plug into y. Y is 1. slope is negative 6. X is negative 4. And we have to find the b. So 1 equals 24 plus b. So leave the b there. 1 minus 24. So b is negative 23. So the equation, y equals, what is the slope? We had it, negative 6. What's the y-intercept, which is the b? Negative 23. So 2 ways, again, to work it. Your choice. Number 2, we have a slope and an x-intercept. So an x-intercept is the point 9, 0. Again, we have a slope and a point. So y minus, that's a minus, 0 equals negative 2/3 x minus 9 is the point slope form. Remove the brackets, negative 2/3 times x, negative 2/3 x, and 2/3 times 9, which is over 1. 3 into 9 goes 3, so I get a 6. Negative times negative is positive, so I get a positive 6. And y minus 0 is the same as y. Okay, so we have the point slope form converted to the slope y-intercept form. So the slope is negative 2/3, perfect. The y-intercept is 6. Or I plug it into y equals mx plus b directly. Reason? Because I have a slope, which is my m. I have the 9 and the x, the 9 and the 0, which is the x and the y. So again, all of this information goes in here. So I got a 0 for y. I have negative 2/3 for the slope. My x is 9. And the b is the unknown. So 0 equals 2/3 times 9 is a negative. 3 into 9 goes 3, so that's negative 6 plus b. And b is 0 plus 6, so b is 6. And my equation is slope, negative 2/3, plus b, which is 6. And my 2 equations are the same. Again, two options, your choice. And let's do the third one. You can work these out, pause, work them out. I don't have a slope, so I have to work my slope. x1, y1, x2. To get the equation of a line, you need your slope. So m equals y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. My y2 is negative 8. Subtract. y1 is negative 4. x2 is negative 3. Subtract x1, negative 1. Double negative is a positive, so the top becomes, the numerator becomes negative 4. Double negative is a positive, change them. Negative 3, negative plus 1 is negative 2. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is 2, so I have a slope of 2. Point slope form, pick a point. Now let's take the first one, and the slope is 2. So now I have a point and a slope. I can plug it into the point slope form. Y plus 4, 2, x plus 1, because you sub it in, change the signs. Remove the brackets, 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 1, 2, and the 4 moves to the right side to become a minus. So y equals 2x minus 2. The point slope form converted to the slope y-intercept form. So the slope is 2, the y-intercept is negative 2. Or if you want, you might plug it into y equals mx plus b, your choice. But if I do this form, I have to still find the slope of 2 first. So I work at the slope of 2. Now I can plug that information in here. So I'll pick the point negative 1, negative 4 with the slope of 2. As I did here, plug in y is negative 4. The slope is 2. X is negative 1. And do the multiplication first, negative 2. Leave the b on the right side and move the number over. Much easier. So you get a negative 2 and you work it out. Remember, the b could come over here to become negative. The 4 could go over to the right, become positive, and you still get the negative 2 in the end. You could do that. Let me show you that. So if I move the b to the left side, I get a negative b. Negative 2, move the 4 to the right side to become plus 4. So negative b equals 2. Now I divide by negative 1 on each side, because that's understood to be a 1. So b becomes negative 2. So it's still, whichever way you do it, leave the b where it is and you don't have to make a negative. And anyway, the equation becomes the slope is 2, the y-intercept is negative 2. So 2 ways to get the equation. And number 4, we have a point and a y-intercept, but we don't have a slope. So we have to get the slope first, or some people, let me do this one first. Y equals mx plus b. Let's do the slope y-intercept form right away. I have a point, which is my x and y, and I have my y-intercept is 9. My y-intercept of 9, that's my b. So I have a y, which is 6. I don't have my slope. I have x is negative 3. And my y-intercept is 9. That's my b, so b is 9. So the only unknown is my slope. So if I keep working it out, 6 equals negative 3m plus 9. And the m is negative, so I can move it to the left side to become 3m. Move the 6 to the right side to become negative. So 3m equals 3. Divide by 3, and I get m equals 1. So I have a slope of 1. Y equals 1x. My y-intercept is 9. So that's my equation. And 1x is the same as x. So the equation is y equals x plus 9 in the slope y-intercept form. So I could have plugged that right in here right away and I would have had it. Or I can go the other way. If my y-intercept is 9, that's the point. X is 0, y is 9. Because the y-intercept at the x-coordinate is 0. That means I can work out the slope. I can work out x1, y1, x2, y2. And my slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And y2 is 9 minus y1 is 6, x2 is 0 minus negative 3, and simplify that. 9 minus 6 is 3. Double negative is a positive, and that's a 3 on the bottom, and 3 divided by 3 is 1, so my slope is 1. So my point slope form, I have a point of negative 3, 6, and I have a slope of 1. If I plug that in, I have y minus 6, 1 times x plus 3 in my point slope form. Y minus 6, 1 times x is x, 1 times 3 is 3. Y equals x plus 3 plus 6. Y equals x plus 9. So I could have worked out the slope, plugged it into point slope form to get the slope y-intercept form, or plugged it in right away, knowing that I had the 3 unknowns. I could work out the slope. A bit different, but it works. Many ways to work out the slope y-intercept form. Just practice and watch your options. Now, last sheet. Just try to illustrate something here. A line passes through many points. The equation of a line in the point slope form can be represented by many equations because it passes through many points. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 is the point slope form. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to graph this line, and I'm going to work out the equations for each of the points that's on the line to show you that if I got 4 points, I got 4 equations. Here we go. Let's graph the line through -1 with a slope of 2, and the 2 is understood to be over 1. So let's go. X is 0, 0, so -1 for the x, -1 for the y. There's the point. -1, I'll mark it, -1, -1. So if I take this point and plot the slope, which is 2 over 1, I'll rise 2 and run 1. So that gives me this one. So that point there is x is 0 and y is 1. If I rise 2 again, 1, 2, and run 1 to the right, I get this point, and this point x is 1 and y is 3. And if I do it again, rise 2 and go to the right 1, I get this point, and this point is 2, 5. So these 4 points lie on this line. Okay, let me draw the line through those 4 points. Here we go. The line is being drawn through the 4 points. And a little bit off right here, but you know what I mean. So what I'm going to do now is take those 4 points and work out the 4 equations. So if we take the point -1, -1, the equation becomes y plus 1, slope is 2, and x plus 1, point slope form. Y plus 1. I forgot to change the sign. I said it, but I didn't change it. So y plus 1, 2 times x plus 1. B, let's take the point 0, 1 and the slope of 2. Let's take this other point. Work out the equation in the point slope form. So it's y minus 1 equals 2 times x minus 0. C, let's take the point 1, 3. So we have the point 1, 3 on the line with a slope of 2. Work out the point slope form. Y minus 3 equals 2 times x minus 1. And we take the other point, which is 2, 5, which has a slope of 2. And the point slope form is y minus 5, 2 times x minus 2. So notice this line has these 4 points. There's many, many more, but I'm only using these 4 to illustrate. What I'm now going to do is that all of these are in point slope form representing this one line. I'm going to convert this point slope form to slope intercept. Here we go. Y minus 1, 2x plus 2. Move the 1 over and make it a minus. So y equals 2x plus 1. B, let's work this one out. So y minus 1, 2 times 0 is 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 0 is 0. So y equals 2x minus 0 plus 1. So y equals 2x minus 1. Third one, let's work this one out. Y minus 3, 2x minus 2. Y equals 2x minus 2 plus 3. Y equals 2x plus 1. Third one, y minus 5, 2 times x, 2x, 2 times -2, -4. Y equals 2x minus 4 plus 5. And it can be 2x plus 1. If you notice, 4 different point slope forms, but every one of them works out to be what? Y equals 2x plus 1, where the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 1. So all of these points, all of these equations in the point slope form work out to only one slope y-intercept form. In other words, this line only cuts the y-axis at one place, which is at 1. So it has one slope y-intercept equation, but many point slope form because there's many points on a line. So it has only one slope y-intercept equation. Only one, because it only has one y-intercept, which is, there it is, y equals 2x plus 1. But it has many point slope equations, because it has many points on the line. I just wanted to illustrate that. And also, while I'm at it, a vertical line with an undefined slope or no slope cannot be written in the slope y-intercept form, because the slope is undefined. You cannot put it into y equals. It cannot go into this form because the slope is undefined. So it can't go into that form. And not only that, it cannot go into the, remember, it cannot go into y minus y1 equals m outside of x minus x1. It cannot go into the point slope form either, because the slope is undefined. So a vertical line cannot go into either one of these forms because the slope is undefined. And that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you know how to find the equation of a line in the slope y-intercept form. Follow the examples and everything should be hopefully work out so that you understand what you're doing. If you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, click the notification bell. There's more videos coming your way on different topics. Write a comment on my video if you're a subscriber, and visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, where you have 3 sections. The section on me talks about my degrees and teaching experience. The section on videos talks about the teaching strategies you're going to use to help you learn your math. And the section on content has the units that I have online with the number of videos on each unit. And the black font has the videos, the units and videos that are online right now. And the red font is the topics that will be there in the near future. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Bye-bye.